I don't know. We live?
Are we live?
Are we live?
Yeah, you
I guess
good.
we must
Go.
be live. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't
We
see that. Me neither.
sitting there looking at each other. What's up, everybody? We're live on
Live.
A2D Radio. This is Vetted with Irving Fryar and my big dog right there, Hollis Thomas, over there on my left side, my right side, whichever side that is, over there. That's him.
Yeah.
Good to be with y'all today. Listen, we got to agree or disagree statement today, and Ralph's going to put it up on the screen. Throw it up there, Ralph. There it is. Do you agree or do you disagree? Y'all come on in the room today that the Philadelphia Eagles will finish the season with the same record as last year, 14-3. 14 wins in spite of the difficult season, in spite of, playing a lot of the top teams, playoff teams this year. The Eagles will end up with the same record they had last year, and that will be 14-3, and they'll win the NFC East. Do you agree? I know that's what you want, but do you agree with that statement, or do you disagree with that statement?
I agree.
Do you agree? You think they'll win 14?
Yeah.
Do you have them at 14?
Yeah, remember I told you I told you it was going to be 13 or 14.
Right.
Be like last year. It's going to be a little bit more. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I also know that with some of the pieces we added, especially at the coordinator spot, we don't lack the power,
the gumption. We got the gumption.
We don't lack the testicle fortitude now to go after somebody and get them off the field.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about last week's preseason game versus the Cleveland Browns. We're going to talk about that a little bit. That's on our agenda today. Yeah. But before we get into all of that, what's going on, Jake? How are you, sir? God bless you. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us. He said, I'll disagree with the poll. Have us finishing. Well, okay, one game off, 13-4. That's cool too. They'll still win the NFC East. And obviously that's what's most important. But I believe, I really do believe that they're going to not just surprise us, because they won't surprise us in being a good team. Right. We're expecting that. We have those expectations of this team this year because of how Howie Roseman has been able to build this team and draft and trade over the last couple of 3 years. We have high expectations, and obviously the development of our ace quarterback, our ace Boone Coon, Jalen Hurts. So we're expecting them to be good. We're expecting them to make the playoffs. We're expecting them to win the NFC East. Although, statistics show that teams don't come back and win the NFC East back to back. They haven't done it in a while. But I believe this team is different. I believe this team is special. And the main reason they're different and they're special is because of who's leading this team. And that's Jalen Hurts. He's a different kind of guy, Doc. He's like an alien from another planet. He operates at a different level. He just operates at a different level. And to be 25 years old and as focused as he is, man, is just remarkable. It is remarkable. Everybody's talking about, he's stoic and he's staunchy and not necessarily unapproachable, but he's stiff. He doesn't laugh a lot. He doesn't clown a lot.
He's
focused. He's focused.
He's unfadable. Yeah. He's
focused. So big dog, before we get in, what were you doing? You were traveling this weekend or last weekend.
I was, but we should speaking of travel, I should get into the Philly sports trips.
No, we don't have any reads today.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Their sponsorship is up.
Oh, good. Okay. let me kick it to I was in Milwaukee.
You were in Milwaukee.
in Milwaukee.
Were you seeking more sponsorships?
Well, I was doing a little bit of business. As you know, I do a little side bartering as a general contractor, and a friend of mine from college who's been in the mortgage broker business for about 30 years. He wanted to revitalize his city and get a lot of people know that the single family homes have skyrocketed and have become a bit of a thing of the past. So we were trying to get somebody affordable single family homes in the the 2s and 3s like that, because right now the single family homes that used to be that are now in the 5s and 6s and going up to $1 million. So and the supply and demand. So he brought me down and I met with some councilmen and some aldermen, and it just happened to be the Republican debate And I didn't know until myself and my buddy Greg we were coming out of the airport, and one of the guys from Fox News was there at the airport, waiting on the arrival of some of the people, and it was pretty funny. It was kind of funny just to see, because they only allowed a certain amount of people there. But I ended up watching the debate, and I was unimpressed.
Brian Daly says he agrees he thinks the team's going to be 14-3. All right, yeah. Brian, I got you. Yep, I'm right there with you. But go ahead, big dog. I'm sorry.
So then I went to my buddy's cigar bar, who's from Philly. He owns a place called Copperfields. He shows me patronage every time. That was my second time in 2 months going to Milwaukee. The first time was I got a chance to see the kids that I did the camp with back in July. The camp was for grades 6 through 12, and so I got a chance to give them a little pep talk, because this Friday they're going for they have a rival game where they go for this cup. They haven't won the cup in apparently in 4 years, so it's a group of young sophomores and juniors that are looking to bring that cup on back home to Sherwood. And happy birthday to my boy Steve Calvin Stevens, who I was down there seeing, and it was a real good time. Except for we picked the hottest day that they've had in ages to go down there. It was 97 degrees, but it was 99 degrees. But given the lake effect, the humidity and stuff, it was like 111. Wow. Man, it was toasty. But I did see Chris Christie.
Did you smack? I asked you earlier. Did you smack him? You should have smacked him right in the back of the head.
No, because I kind of chuckled, and some of the people who followed me when I was working for WIP, they know that I was in the studio when he came into the studio and literally fell out of the chair.
So did he fall out of the chair because he fell out of the chair, or did he fall out of the chair because he couldn't fit in the chair?
He fell out of the chair because it was a chair may have been a little bit too high for him. He's a short, stubby guy. But the chair, the funny thing about the chair is if you don't, and that's the other part I forgot to mention to you before we came on. If you don't put your hands on the arms and you just try to sit in there, and you're just gonna slide right out. And he slid right out, and he tried to grab the table. So the cameras, so the cameras were going. They have cameras in the studio now. The cameras were going, and so it's, if you go look up Chris Christie following the WIP studios on YouTube, you'll see it. It's one of the funniest things known to man. It's probably got a couple of million views because it was hilarious.
Wow, I would have paid money to be there in that room and just reach down to try to help him up and looking at his face.
They were trying to stop me from laughing. It wasn't no way.
No, I know you were laughing. You don't care. Shoot, I wouldn't have cared either. I'm like, I would have laughed too. When I found out he was all right, I would have had a ball with that.
Now, you what'd you venture off to?
Oh yeah, man. I was I was somewhere hotter than where you were. I was in Mississippi. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Mississippi. Now Mississippi. I went down to go visit Pete Evans. What's going on? How are you?
What's up, Pete?
He says, have a great show. You too, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining in and supporting us.
Thank you.
I was down in Mississippi. I went to go see Hugh Green and I, former linebacker with the Miami Dolphins, is when I got a chance to know him. He and I kind of developed a good relationship. So he invited me down to Mississippi a few weeks ago. So I'm at the golf tournament, invited me down to Mississippi to actually it's Walter Camp. We were in Connecticut. And he invited me down he's a deacon at his church. So he invited me down to preach at his church. It's called Reigning Manna Christian Center. Pastor's name is Michael Brown is his name, and it's in Fayette, Mississippi. So I went down there to preach at the church. But while we were there, we went out and we went fishing on Saturday. I got there on a Friday. On a Saturday, we got up early in the morning, went fishing at 6 o'clock in the morning. We caught 50 brim. They call them brim down in Mississippi.
Right.
We call them sunnies up here in New Jersey. We caught 50 brim in 45 minutes. Crazy. We were just yanking them out, of the water. Went back.
Is that what you guys ate?
Yeah, we ate the brim. Good fish. Good fish.
Okay.
Good. I mean, it's nature down there. It's country down there. So it's none of the preservatives and pollution and all that kind of stuff that we got going on up here in the Northeast. It's he lives in the middle of 200 acres of forest. Literally, he's got panthers running around down there. He's got bears running around down there. Panthers. He's got deer. Yeah, panthers, black panthers. He's got deer running around, raccoons, rabbits, all snakes, rattlesnakes. He got all kinds of stuff, man. You got to be careful while you're down there. So we brought Brim back and some of his buddies. They cleaned them and he fried them up, man. They were good. They were really good. So I went and preached on Sunday. Then Sunday night or Sunday evening, and went back. Now, this is something I said I would never do, big dog, but never say never. Because I like Hugh,
right? And
he just talked me into this, man. I said I would never do it, but he talked me into it. So we came back to his house Sunday after service, and we sat down for dinner. And guess what I ate?
Chitlins?
No, not chitlins, man. I eat chitlins not all the time, but I eat chitlins. So those Sunnies will go after. Yeah, the Sunnies. Yup. Put that back up there, Ralph. The Sunnies will go after what? He said the Sunnies go after. Yeah, just listen, Brian. I used to catch Sunnies up here in New Jersey when I was a kid with just a gold hook. I could throw a gold hook by itself, no bait, in the water, and Sunnies would bite it. And I just catch Sunnies all day long when I was a kid. So we had for dinner. I'll give you one more guess, big dog. One more guess. We out in the country, straight country, all country.
Possum?
Close, but not possum.
Squirrel?
No, I had squirrel when I was a kid. We used to eat squirrel and rabbit when I was a kid.
Snake?
No, not snake. It was raccoon.
Oh, okay. I thought I was getting ready to say neutral rat.
Neutral rat? What is that?
Oh, you went further in the south then.
What neutral rat? How much farther you want to get in Mississippi?
New Orleans?
No, we right across the bridge from New Orleans.
That's where they eat neutral rat at.
Neutral rat?
Yep.
What's a neutral rat?
It's bigger than it's big. Okay, so
bigger than the rat?
If you ever in New Orleans and you see like one of those boats that's out there, you just see them like shooting stuff. They're shooting neutral rat. They're shooting neutral rats because they overran the population. It was a delicacy somewhere, and so they brought them. Yeah, so they brought them over here. Some people, like you said, when you said no to possum, the next thing I was thinking was neutral rat.
Listen, I'm never going to eat a rat. I said I wouldn't eat a raccoon, but I ate some coon, man, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was tasty. Hugh was kind of like a chef. He actually said he didn't have all of the ingredients that he needed to cook it the way he normally cooks it, so it was lacking a little bit of flavor that he would like for it to have had.
Yeah,
but
it was got the right look.
It was good, man. I'm telling you, it was good. So yeah.
So what were the sides?
What were the sides?
Yeah, that's all.
Mashed potatoes and
load up on them.
We had mashed potatoes and some kind of green, I believe it was. Yeah, mashed potatoes. I know it was mashed potatoes and some kind of greens. I forget what the greens were, but I had a raccoon leg and I had some ribs because it's small. Leg and some ribs, and I had like a hip or something.
Man.
So I'm done eating. I'm done eating for the year. I'm not eating anything else for the rest of the year. Nothing. I'm starving for the rest of the year. I'm done eating for the rest of the year. I'm not going to eat nothing. When y'all see me out in the street, you're going to be able to look right by me because I'm going to be so thin because I'm not eating anything else for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Well, listen. You wouldn't either. It was good though. So listen, now we finished playing around. Yeah. Let's get into we're going to talk a little bit about last week's preseason game against the Browns. Before we do that though, I want to mention some and you can comment on this, big dog, some of the injuries that took place. And obviously that's why they're doing what they're doing in this day and time of football to prevent injury, because there were some injuries that the Eagles suffered all in this game. Zacchaeus
Oh, yeah.
The receiver, he got a shoulder injury. Nolan
Yeah.
Smith, he got a shoulder. Matter of fact, Nolan Smith, I want to ask you about this. Nolan Smith, when I was watching the game again, Nolan Smith suffered his shoulder injury. It was friendly fire. He got hit by his own player. He's pulling. He got a penalty on the play because he's pulling that guy down by his horse collar. Right. But his own player hit him on the way down.
And then that's how I dislocated my elbow.
How often? That's what I wanted to ask you. I played offense, but how often does that happen, guys on defense? Because I've been in a situation where I saw, on the film where I'm getting tackled and guys flying over me, they're hitting each other. They miss me, but hit each other. How often does injury take place like that, Big Dog, when it's friendly fire?
Well, it's nothing friendly about it. I have to tell
it's your teammate. It's your teammate.
But I know I have to tell Dawkins, and you have to make sure you had on the Super when Dawkins is coming up, and when and your friendly neighborhood bullet Keith Adams, because that's how Keith Adams is how I dislocated my elbow, because he came up and I was tackling Clint Portis. And he hit me on the elbow as I was tackling him, and knocked it loose. Now Dawkins, they will come up in there, and they're coming up in there, hell bent for leather, and it's not. That's why I say it's not friendly fire. Open your eyes. But then I digress, because sometimes they have their eyes open, and the target that they're hitting shifts real quick, and it turns into hitting your own player. That's how. Okay, so you remember. When friendly fire, Troy Vincent, Brian Dawkins knocked out Troy Vincent when we were playing against the Detroit Lions, and it was it wasn't friendly fire. I don't know if people remember this game, but
it's friendly fire because it's your own teammate.
Well, Ricky Morton, he ran it like a skinny post, and Dawkins read it, so Troy was right on his tail.
Right,
because he's pushing him to Dawk.
Right,
and Ricky Morton, instead of looking for the ball, he looked and saw Dawk, and then looked at the ball, and then looked and saw Dawk.
He ducked.
And then Dawk has knocked Troy out. Troy is sprawled out on the field, is knocked down.
Wow.
Friendly fire.
So it happens often, huh?
It happens more times than you know.
And people, you know what? People don't know that. I mean, they may see it. Maybe they saw that Nolan got up. His arm looked like his arm. He was holding his arm, and they took him and put him under that tent. Right. And then he went inside. He was walking inside. They didn't cart him inside, but everybody saw that. But I don't think anybody mentioned. I didn't hear anybody mention, particularly the announcers. Yeah, it was friendly fire. He got hit by his own teammate.
Yeah, and it's not friendly fire. Open your eyes, sucker.
It's friendly fire. Well, they call it friendly fire because it's one that's supposed to be your friend.
It's violent.
It's supposed to be on your side. Well, it's all violent. The whole game is violent.
Open your eyes up and hit the right person.
Well, sometimes that doesn't happen. But anyway, Nolan Smith's got a shoulder. Zech McPhearson's got an ankle. Josh Andrews, the center's got an ankle. Tyree Cleveland, wide receiver, he's got a neck. He landed on his head upside down. Oh my gosh. That was crazy. Trying to catch that ball the second time. He missed it the first time. Then Hassan Reddick's got this thumb injury, and he's had surgery. He's had surgery. They said that the surgery was successful. So talk to us a little bit about that, because having a surgery, I mean, it's a surgery. It's not something minor. It's a surgery, and it's a thumb. Being a defense. Okay, if it was a thumb for me as a wide receiver, I might be out for the season.
See this, Irv?
Yes, sir.
You still have those.
No, I know you still have those as a defensive player.
Yeah, as a defensive player, you still have these.
So you're saying he's not, though he's had surgery, though it was successful, he's really not going to use his thumb this year.
No, he's probably not going to use it too much. I think it's and when you tackle, sometimes my thumb used to be wrapped up so tight, like you see how far my thumb bends down.
Right, you can't grip it. Yeah.
Oh no, see how far they bend down.
Right.
It's like this. It's like you have to wrap them anyway. And I used to wrap my hands like boxers.
Okay.
I would put my gloves on, and I would take they had those sticky pads.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a set of those and put one right here on my thumb, one right here on my hand, one right here on the outside of my wrist, and one right here on the inside of my wrist. And I would take the stretch tape first and wrap my hand like a boxer. and that's it. You got yourself a pad.
Right.
You got yourself
but defensive guys, I was trying to watch them, the guys who were rushing defensive ends, linebackers, pass rushers. You guys use your hands a lot.
Well,
you're
you're
almost like boxing.
Yeah, but when you look at him, I think it may be an advantage to him, especially with the cast on it when he swats the ball out of quarterback.
Well, yeah, he can use it as a club. He can use it as a weapon. Right. But again, when I think about a thumb injury, I'm thinking like, okay, dang, if that was me or if that was a wide receiver, he's out for the season because you can't if you can't use your thumb, you can't catch the ball.
That's why we get paid the big bucks because we're the big dogs down on the inside handling business.
But anyway, supposedly, that Hassan has had a successful surgery on his thumb. So those are the injuries. And they were just dropping one after the other there for a while in the game with Cleveland. Yeah. Nothing unusual was happening. Guys were just going out. They didn't suffer or record too many injuries in the first game versus the Ravens, but here against Cleveland, they lost a few guys, although I'm sure they're minor. Hopefully they're minor, particularly when it comes to Nolan. Zacchaeus was doing a good job with regards to being, I guess he's the fourth receiver now. He was the second receiver at the Falcons, but he's the fourth receiver with the Eagles.
Well, to combat that, they brought in Freddie Swain. Freddie Swain played he played for like 3 or 4 years and bounced off some practice squads, and he's got like 42 receptions for 500 some yards and 6 touchdowns in his career. He started 10 games in his career, but the key to him is he was with Brian, the offensive coordinator at the University of Florida, so he's familiar with what he's doing. So it's always good to get to know a coach, so to speak, so to get yourself in there.
Right. So what are your takes? What did you get most? What were your highlights or even your lowlights from the game last week with the Cleveland Browns with regards to the Eagles?
Well, my lowlights was the play of Marcus Mariota.
I agree.
I feel like 100%. I feel like he took a step back because he showed some flashes in that first game of something that we could use, but then he took a step back, and I don't know if it was because we practiced against the Cleveland Browns, and if you look at the game was like it was just.
But they practiced against the Ravens, didn't they?
No,
they didn't practice against the Ravens.
No, we practiced against the Browns, and then Indianapolis.
Okay.
We didn't practice against the Ravens.
Okay.
That was the thing. It's like when you practice against a team for 2 days, you kind of know what they're going to do. So
when you keep it simple like that in training camp, they're not. But the whole is not being exposed.
Yeah, and I fully expected him to take another step forward. But now we got everybody in every social outlet, every sports media outlet talking about we should bring Nick Foles back or move the young kid up. I was like, it's one game. The other thing too is I like Sydney is handling business.
Sydney Brown.
Sydney Brown is still handling business. I like what I saw from those guys, and the guys up front. I still haven't seen my boy Jordan Davis just like popping at me. It's just like not even in practice either. I was talking to some of the guys. Tracy Rocker is a good friend of mine, the D-line coach. I talked to him a little bit here and there. And it's just like I haven't asked him personally, but when he talked, I say, who's popping out at you? First person everybody says is Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter,
right? Everybody, and then it's like everybody.
He's wreaking havoc, man. He's causing problems. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like I think he's going to be like the wild card, and I think he's going to do some good things this year. But I'm still wondering when Jordan Davis when it's going to totally click for him, because it's like you got this last preseason game. They're probably not going to play him. They may play him though, but I just don't know. I feel like I should maybe, and then somebody just mentioned it too. Jonathan Harvey, Trey Sermon showed me why that we went and got him one. And now he's finally getting the opportunity that I thought that everybody thought he should have been getting already. Trey Sermon, it's like I saw that, and that was real good for him because you got a running back room full of people, and they keep bringing in people, and everybody's talking about the Jonathan Taylor thing, and I was like, I don't think our running back room is big enough for that because he wants to get paid as well, and he's coming off injury, but. The thing with that I was talking about with Jordan Davis, I was just expecting to see him just come out and kick ass.
Right.
And
right.
just like and take names.
Yeah.
It's just like
And,
especially with the shape that he came into camp in, dude, he
mhm.
looks tremendous.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, come I don't know. I'm hoping that it hits him that first week of the season, but we shall see.
Well, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter both started that first series on defense, and neither one really got much done. I think they did a decent job against the run, but Cleveland took the ball right down the field, and almost scored. Got inside the 5-yard line. Of course, Nakobe Dean knocked the ball loose, and Wallace picked it up. I
was happy to see that too.
Yeah, that was good.
That was
they bent, the bend but don't break type of defense. Always hang in there because you never know what's going to happen. So that was good. But then the offense turned the ball right back over. Actually, was Sills got beat. He just missed his block or whatever he did. Got tackled in the backfield, so we give him a safety.
Safety.
So that was a little disappointing. But I agree with you in terms of Mariota. He threw that interception in the first half. He just sailed the ball over the receiver's head. The first game against the Ravens, he was 7 for 11. I'm sorry, he was 7 for 11. 7 completions out of 11 attempts. So he was okay. Yeah. But in this game against the Cleveland Browns,
we can do nothing with what he did.
Yeah, the offense in the first half was totally wasn't there. Didn't show up at all. Was non-existent. And Mariota was a big part of that. He didn't use his legs like he did in the first game. Yeah, he tried to throw the ball and he was very inaccurate. And he had some inaccurate throws in the first game. So I mean, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's a guy that's capable. He's got like 17,000 yards to throw him before he came to Philadelphia.
Yeah, damn. I need to see a little bit more.
Well, yeah. Obviously, he's built. He can run this offense, the RPO type of offense, because he uses his legs.
Right.
He can run with the ball, but he's got to get better and more accurate and make better decisions when it comes to throwing the ball and stop sailing. I mean, you're asking for an interception. You start throwing the ball. If you're throwing in dirt, it's one thing, but if you're throwing the ball and it's sailing, you're asking for interception. End up in the wrong hands. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in him, and that brings concern to me because they really have got to figure out sooner than later who's going to be the backup quarterback. Now, encouragingly, Tanner McKee came in second half, drives the team right down the field. They score a touchdown. Your boy, Dean. Yep, he comes in, long run. I'm sorry, Sermon. Sermon comes in, long run. After he had fumbled the ball, after he had missed a blitz pickup. I'm sorry, blitz pickup. I'm trying to say that 10 times.
I'm laughing for the comment at the bottom. Read it.
I'm hoping Mariota didn't tap out, like he said on the QB documentary, that he's thinking about giving it up. Whoa, well, we'll see. But you know what, McKee, his numbers are about the same, maybe even a little bit better than Mariota's. But he's got confidence, man. He's got some moxie about him. He can't run like Mariota can or like Jalen Hurts can, but man, he commands the offense and comes in and moves the ball like he did at the beginning. Because again, the offense was non-existent in the first half. Tanner McKee comes in the second half and goes right down the field. Sermon has a long run for a touchdown. Sermon gets back in a groove because he had kind of, you saw Jalen Hurts talking to him on the sidelines.
And he fumbled
that ball. I would love to have heard what Jalen was saying to him, but he fumbled that ball. Then he missed a blitz pickup as well. And that was right after he fumbled the ball. So he was kind of getting in his own head and getting in his own way. So it was good for him to, and he can play. He can play. Trey Sermon can play.
Because he was with San Francisco. Now, as we have my boy Ian from Scotland, from Scotland watching, he wants to know as a
Ian's in Scotland.
Yeah,
what's going on, Ian? My God,
Ian wants to know as one of your teammates ever just decided that football wasn't for him. I think he's speaking of Miles Jacks.
Jacks who just quit.
He just like quit. And
had enough.
Yeah, it's like the funny thing about that is like you had I guess
he just got here.
I know he had an unimpressive outing, and I don't know if he was Call of Duty was still on his mind or what, but I'm glad he said it now instead of waiting and pussyfooting around and making us thinking that he want. I don't want
Right.
nobody here who doesn't want to be here.
Right. Right.
I think I've never seen anybody just totally quit.
But you
I
know
don't
what?
know, have you?
It's honorable on his that this is one sport that you can't fake.
Right.
I mean, you can kind of half-heartedly play baseball. You can
Yeah.
half-heartedly play soccer. You can maybe get away with it in some hockey. You can get away with it in some other sports, but you can't fake football, man. If you're not in it and with it, you're going to get hurt. And not only are you going to get hurt, but other people around you are going to get hurt because you're not doing your job. So it's really honorable of him, though we look at it and we see it kind of in a negative way, and we see it, we place disappointment on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's honorable that he's able to listen. I'm not in it. My head's not in it. I'm not with this. Let me step down and get away from this, because he's walking away from a couple $1 million.
Yeah,
but
it was one of those things where even coming out of college, he was highly touted, but you can kind of tell that he was kind of one of those artsy, fartsy, flighty characters.
Yeah.
Now we have a young. Let me answer Brian Daly's question about his son. He's a kid in his first year at defensive end. I would tell him make sure his pad level is low, make sure he sets the edge, and don't be Velcro. That means just rag your block, get off your block, and make plays, and be the enforcer. Right. But it's your first year. Go out there and have some fun. But you're only gonna have fun if you're kicking somebody's butt. And the way you kick somebody's butt is your pad level, and make sure that you use your hands and keeping the offense, because the offensive tackle is going to act like it's Christmas every time the ball snaps, and that you're his favorite person.
So you want to grab him.
Yeah, he's going to grab you. So keep him off of you, and it's kind of like get him off you, throw him like a rag doll. But I wanted to make sure I answered that because that was the second time it popped up there. So
that was a great question, because I mean, it was a great question as relating to you and I, because we coached together in high school, Robbinsville High School in New Jersey. So, and I would just add to this to make sure whatever position your son is playing, anybody who's listening, if you have a child who's playing, a son who's playing in high school, make sure they master the fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's where they need to. All that intricacy stuff, all that intricate stuff that goes on in college and in the pros. They're not ever going to be able to do that if they don't master the fundamentals of the position that they're playing.
Yeah.
One of the things I teach wide receivers is the basics of the route tree. You got to learn the route tree. It doesn't change. They may add stuff to it as you go to the next level in college and in the pros. But the route tree is the route tree. The one route is the one route. The three route is the three route. They may call it something different, but you got to learn the fundamentals of that position.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that question, because once I got to playing in the NFL for a little bit out, I was some of the stuff that my college coach, because in college, the defensive line coach became the defensive coordinator, so he was really coaching just the defensive ends and the defensive tackles. I was the nose guard, so the head coach was coaching me. And I got a lot of one-on-one tutelage about breaking down blocks, and it took me back also to high school about breaking down blocks and defeating the block in front of you before I start. But make sure another thing, Brian, make sure you defeat the block before you start looking for the damn ball. If you don't do that, you're gonna be playing safety. Yeah, and it was another thing that Irv said early on about the fundamentals. You make sure your kid sees what he hits. Do not bend your neck. Do not put your head down. That's it. Just teach them how to tackle. As a heads up program, I was heads up program certified. You didn't know that because I was a youth football coach in Vegas. We went to the Pop One, well not Pop One, USA Football. The NFL had it in Canton, where we did the heads up program, teaching kids how to tackle properly to stop the neck and head injury. So
right. Well, we were always taught when I was coming up, we were taught to hit with our forehead.
Yeah, see what you hit.
Yeah, see what you hit with your forehead.
Yeah.
That way you didn't bend over like this. Yeah. If you're going to hit with your forehead, you got to keep your head up,
right,
and bow your shoulders. But you can't do that really anymore.
Yeah, now you have to get your head across. Now you got to
get your head up and hit with your shoulder. Yeah,
but you got to get it's still the same fundamentals though, because you keep your head up, but you got to get your head across the bow,
across the body.
Yeah,
right.
So it's like when I went to Milwaukee, Steve, I went over there and I had to reprimand the coach, one of his assistant coaches,
Because
he was doing a drill that I despise because and then also Brian, when you tackle somebody, run your feet. Do not
keep
make
your
them
feet
dead.
going. Yeah,
Keep
keep your feet going. Run through the tackle.
Yes, because they will make an example out of you. You'll be on somebody's highlight reel.
Pro Fan Talk. Marcus said, "See what you hit." Yeah,
yes.
See what you hit.
Yes,
see what you hit.
And so the coach had the kids hitting the donut, but they were all stopping their feet, and I could just hear Tommy Brazier. You know Tommy Brazier, don't you?
Yeah.
Tommy Brazier. I can hear Tommy Brazier like, "Run your feet, run your feet,
run your feet."
Yeah.
What's he talking about? Run my feet. Why does he keep saying that to me? Run my feet.
Listen, I found out why he was saying that because I hit Kajana Carter one time. And I didn't rub my feet and kind of laid on him. The next thing you know, I was holding him down. What should have been a knockout blast.
Right.
I had to whoa.
Hold on. You had to hold on. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, Kimasabi.
He almost got away.
Yeah.
So thus far, I wanted to say this and give him a shout out. Greg Ward has really been, I think Greg Ward has been standing out. From what I hear about practice, he's really been having great practices, and it's not been an up and down thing. It's just been a continual ascension of him doing better. He had a good game, a really good game against the Ravens, and he had a really good game when they called on him. He was out of the game pretty much the second half, but the first half, when they called his number, man, he came through. So I believe Greg Ward is having a great year in terms of training camp, and right now I think he deserves to be the third guy. Yeah. I think that the Eagles can depend on him. He's shown that. He's been there for several years. He is dependable.
Have you seen Quez? Has Quez did anything?
No, I haven't seen Quez. Well, they're keeping him on the sidelines with the starters. So they're treating him as a starter. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because Quez has not even been on the field like the starters have not been on the field as of yet. So we don't know what Quez is going to do. Supposedly he's been having a good camp, training camp, but no, that doesn't. I mean, we know, you and I know about great practice players.
Yeah,
you got to get in the game.
All world Thursday.
Yeah, you got to get in the game and perform when it counts the most. So they're treating Quez Watkins as though he's the starter, he's the third receiver. But I'm saying this, Greg Ward, man, he's consistent, he's dependable. And he's proven. He's proven.
And emergency QB.
And the emergency QB.
He was almost a Heisman candidate the senior year.
Right.
I was like, wow.
If need be, he's so listen, speaking of that, not that Greg Ward is concerned about being cut, but here on August 29th, the cuts are going to be made.
Yes.
Teams are going to go from 90 players to 53 players.
Right.
By August 29th.
Correct.
I was never in that position. I don't, and I'm not saying that to brag or anything like that. I was just never.
It's okay to brag. I'm
not bragging, but I just never experienced it before. And and you know what? I never thought about putting myself in that position or really thought about other guys who were in that position. Yeah, guys came and players left, and I may have stayed in contact with them, but it never crossed my mind what the thought process, what the mindset is during, particularly as you get on into preseason and it gets towards, they're a week or so away from having to make that final cut. There are guys that know they're on the bubble. Right. There are guys who this is their dream come true to make an NFL team, who may get cut and that be their last time playing any football, who won't go to another team, who won't get picked up by another team, who won't be on anybody's practice squad, and this will be it. That could have been possibly you.
Yeah.
Because you were a free agent, undrafted free agent.
Correct.
You didn't come in knowing you were going to make the team.
No.
You had to grind and make the team. So right now, what are those guys who are on the bubble or who could possibly be let go on the 29th? What's their mindset? What are they going through? What are they trying to do to prevent themselves from going crazy?
Well, you can't prevent yourself from going crazy. The one thing that I did learn, because it's times are a little bit different than they were at first. So when you go out, they go out and try to put their best foot forward. Because what I did learn was And when the Eagles cut down, that's not the end all be all. Remember, every Monday and
You're on
Tuesday,
film.
yeah, you're on film too. But
You're on
every
film.
Monday and Tuesday, they're bringing somebody in there different that they may have liked more than you.
Right.
So that's another thing you have to think of when you're undrafted free agent. But the part that all the guys are thinking now is, I got to go out here and show out. I got to go out here and do my best and put my best foot forward and not quit. And
okay,
that's you just like gotta let the chips fall where they may. And the other part too is, you're not only playing for the Eagles, because there is now I think it's a 10-player practice squad now.
right.
Every team has that.
Mhm.
So if you go out there and feel sorry for yourself and put some crappy stuff on film that all 32 teams are seeing, nobody's going to bring you in for that. That's the difference between back then when I did it and now is like the practice squad is I think 4 players deeper. And, and I think they emphasize this game a little bit more, and they keep everything simple so the guys can give them the freedom to play.
Right.
And some guys, like you were saying, some guys make the team off of this game.
Right. Right. But this, how much does, I watch guys in preseason on the teams that I've been on 17 years. And I watch guys like Trey Sermon, not that he is on the bubble, so to speak. He's got more of a chance of making the team than not making the team. But he could, depending on what happens, he could be let go. So he fumbles the ball and then he misses a blitz pickup.
Blitz pickup, yeah.
So does every play count when it comes to guys like that? Have you seen people or known of situation where a guy gets cut because he fumbled the ball or because he missed a blitz pickup and then maybe didn't get a chance to get back in and to redeem himself?
It's a little different. The last game is a little different because that's the lasting impression that you leave.
Okay.
If you've had a chance to go through all those practices and you know that this is time. This is make or break time. And you do something like that in this game, it's right here. They're about to play later on the day.
Right.
Then your ass is grass. It's like because that's the last thing that they see. Now, if you have been having a great camp and stuff the whole time, they may overlook it, but then they may think that you got too comfortable and may let you go. And then too, if you're a veteran, and because the veterans, if you're on the opening day roster, your contract is guaranteed.
Right.
So they may cut you and bring you back. May tell you don't sign with anybody, or they may tell you they're gonna bring you back on the practice squad. But like you said, when you make those type of mistakes, if they're continuous, so the fact that he came back and ran a touchdown means that he has a short-term memory. And you want that.
Yeah, no, it was a good thing. No, I was happy for him because I was disappointed in him.
Yeah.
When he fumbled the ball, but fumbling happens. It does. You can't,
It ain't supposed to.
No, it's not supposed to. Once you got the ball in your hands, it's one thing catching the ball, but it's another thing when you got the ball. You already have the ball in your hands, and then you allow it to be taken out. But then when he missed the blitz pickup, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's in his head now. Yeah. He hasn't forgot about that fumble, and he's letting it get to him, and now it's affecting his total game. Right. But then he came back and had a good run, scored a touchdown. That was good for him. So no, I just wanted to know. I wanted the people to know, based on your own experience with these guys are going. They're hustling right now. They're putting all their time, all of their energy, all their effort, all their focus into this last few days before this cut, because it's make or break time for them.
Well, yeah, the game is. I think the game is the most important thing. But the other part about the game now that they don't make those cuts until the end is that you don't get the guys who are playing offense, starting on offense or defense, but also doing all the special teams. So so you still got enough people to do that and run the squad and see. And the other thing too, and we didn't mention this part, mental errors.
Right. Well, that was the blitz pickup.
Yeah, the blitz pickup. Not only mental errors, but loafing. And this used to be a thing. Back in the day when you had all those people on the sideline, nobody knew which team when the special team thing came up, or they changed the defense or changed it off.
Yeah, nobody knows when to go to the field.
Yeah, and they knew they called but you didn't know. You didn't take the time to know which team that you were on.
Right,
right. So when they called it, then we had to take a timeout or you take a penalty.
No, that's you got to get it. You're going to go. Yeah, if you're on the bubble, that'll cost you. Yeah,
that'll cost you big time. And the one thing I think a lot of the guys are doing is they they just gearing up and get ready for this, because it's like you don't want the Grim Reaper. One of the guys say, Marcus say Charlie introduced him to the Grim Reaper. Actually, Ronnie Dixon introduced me to the Grim Reaper. You remember Ronnie Dixon?
Yeah.
Ronnie was like, yeah, you don't want to see that sucker. I was like, well, why not? He seems like a nice guy. He's like, yeah, nah, he's nice right now, but if he come get you and talk about something, take your playbook and the coach want to see you. I was like, oh, so he's the Turk.
Marcus Thomas said from Pro Fan Talk, he said Charlie Garner introduced him to the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Charlie Garner was a great running back, man. That cat was something else.
Yeah, that's my guy.
So Big Dog, they brought in another linebacker, after Jack quit.
Yeah.
And they got a bunch of linebackers. Hassan Reddick, N'Kobe Dean, Christian Ellis. I didn't know Christian Ellis, his brother was on the team. Yeah. He's a defensive tackle, and he's Noah Ellis. Then he's got his father who played 10 years in the NFL, and played with the Lions, played with the Falcons. Then he got a brother who's playing with the Falcons, who's a linebacker. Yeah,
the number 61 is the other Ellis. He's a big homie.
But they got 11. There's 11 Ellises in the world. Yeah, there's 11 of them.
When you look at the linebacker, what you have to do is take this into account. Some of the guys you mentioned are going to be edge rushers.
Right. Well, they got. Let me say all the names: Hassan Reddick, N'Kobe Dean, Christian Ellis, Nicholas Morrow, Patrick Johnson, Nolan Smith, Ben Van Sumeren. I'm sorry, Van Sumeren. Whatever. Jack Cunningham, Kyron Johnson, and then they brought in Quentin Bell. They just brought Quentin Bell in on the 19th of August. So they're kind of, I guess they brought Quentin in to replace Jack, but they're still searching, man, to try to find out
a nice combination.
What's going to happen with this linebacking core. I mean, they got a bunch of decent linebackers in to choose from for sure.
Well, they got. I think the core is going to be N'Kobe, Morrow, and Ellis, and like Patrick Johnson. I don't know.
Ellis is he had a good game. I was watching him, man. He had a good game against Cleveland.
He had a good game against Cleveland. He's been having a tremendous camp.
Right.
He's been he's a heat-seeking missile, and then Morrow's been having a good camp too. So the guys somebody's like, I'm rooting for Eli Ricks.
Jonathan Ricks
he's open some eyes too. Ricks. I like the way he was talking trash too. In the bump and run coverage, we need that. We need that type of moxie with a second and third corner.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit of it, but our guys are kind of quiet. But we need somebody, like him. But when you look at the linebacking core, it's just a bunch of guys after the first three guys,
right?
And it's you're trying to find the right combination. Especially you got to find the right combination, especially because a lot of those guys are going to play on our special teams, our core special teams, which is one of the reasons why we lost the Super Bowl too,
right?
Because of our coverage teams and stuff.
Yep.
So you have to.
When you say the right combination on defense with linebackers, are we look? Because to me, any position, I'm looking for the best player,
right?
The most talented players, the most players, or the players who can be most effective,
right?
Not necessarily a combination of players, because if you have an elite player or a player who's above average, he can play in whatever system, and he can play with whatever players you have around him.
Right.
As opposed to, you mentioned combination.
What when I say combination,
linebackers, you just mean linebacker core.
Linebacker core, yeah. Because you got to have the guys who can start and also play special teams. Because so that's a lot of times that's how you're going to make the team. The more you can
if you're not starting, you better be on special teams.
When I was a rookie, y'all was running, your older guys running around. I was like, you better get your ass on special teams. And the more you can do,
the more valuable you are. Yeah, that's right. The more you can do, the more valuable you are.
Mess around, they see you home in a taxi cab.
Listen, I was thinking about this earlier when I heard, we haven't seen Jalen Hurts at all in a preseason game thus far. We have one more game that they're actually playing tonight. Oh my God, they're playing tonight. Playing the Colts tonight. That's all. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Yeah. The last segment we'll take care of that, because I know you want to say something about Jim Irsay and his foolishness.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen Jalen Hurts at all. Now I'm looking across the league and
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching some of the preseason games, but I see guys, some of the major big name quarterbacks in the league playing. Patrick Mahomes is playing. Tua is playing in preseason games.
Well,
Josh Allen.
Don't put Tua in there.
But he's in there. But I'm just saying
because he's soft as cotton. Stop it.
Okay, I'll take Tua out. Patrick Mahomes is playing.
Got to build some continuity.
Yeah, Josh Allen is playing. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
Now we have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't played in the preseason game since 2018.
Whole new team.
And I know it's a whole new team.
Yeah.
But he's asking, he wants to play in the last preseason game against the Giants.
A whole new team. That's why.
but there's something to it, is what I'm trying to say. There's something to being on the field, playing full speed, getting some game action in preseason before the regular season. I understand that Aaron Rodgers has got a whole new team. He's got whole new guys to throw with. He's got one of his own guys, but he's got other guys. All these other guys are new guys. But Patrick Mahomes is not in that situation. Josh Allen's not in that situation.
They got new guys in both of those places. They have new. Patrick has new receivers because Juju Smith-Schuster left, and the Tony guy came in.
Yeah, but it's one receiver.
Tony guy came at the end of the season. They have 2 new offensive tackles. You have to build some continuity. Now, I don't have a problem with the quarterback not playing because the quarterback is not supposed to get hit anyway.
Well, I understand that, but again, I asked that, or I gave you that information, or I say that I'm thinking to myself, maybe we might see him tonight a little bit. Maybe we might see him for a little bit because there's something to getting a few, even if it's just a few snaps. Mahomes was only in for a few snaps, but there's something to it. Yeah. He's the number one, he's the best quarterback in the league. They can't afford for no more than the Eagles can afford for Jalen Hurts to get hurt. The Kansas City Chiefs cannot afford for Patrick Mahomes to get hurt.
Right.
Yet and still, he's got a few plays in preseason. There's something to that. Not saying play the whole first quarter, not saying play the whole first half, but there's something. And I'm not talking about, I don't think that the joint practices are enough when it comes to simulating, full speed game situations. So maybe we might see Jalen for a minute tonight. What do you think?
I think we might see him for maybe a series or two, and I think it's just to spark the fire of the first week of the season, because this is the last time that they're going to be in action until the 10th.
Yep.
And so, and then again, they may not do anything. They may not. I mean, because did he play last?
Well, either he is, he's not going to play. either he is, he's not. So you just trying to be right on both sides.
Well, no, because
make a choice, man. Make a choice.
Because I don't see a reason to play him. I don't see. I feel like we need to shore up our backup position more than anything. And I think
you are right about that.
If we don't, I feel like the 2 guys that we got vying for their backup position need to fight it out in the first and second half. And if you're playing, and word to the wise, anybody who's playing the second half, and it was one year we had the last preseason game, and it was an older guy, and they had him play in the second half. But I don't think he knew why they had him play in the second half. They wanted to see if he still had the passion to play football, and he ran around out there like he didn't want to play anymore when they released him. And I was like, I see why you got released, because you thought and it's like you don't think this because you're out there at that particular time that they're going to cut you. Mm-hmm. It's like that means you haven't done enough, and they try to put you out there so you can get some more film out there. You never let anybody take the jam out of your donut that way. I feel like that's the worst way. I feel like that's the worst position to take, especially when you're out there playing football, and you know the system. The best thing you can do is put some quality tape out there. So the next time, that's not that you don't want that to be the last thing that a team sees.
Team see it. Yeah. Nate says Kansas City has new wide receivers. Yes, they do.
That's what I'm saying.
But wait a minute. His number one receiver is Kelsey.
And new
that ain't new.
Yeah, that ain't new. But you still have to build continuity with them, so they know
the offense.
So they're going to get the hell out the way so Kelsey gets the ball.
They got to be taught how to get out of the way so Kelsey can catch the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, even in that kind of situation where you're trying to build continuity,
Right.
okay, that may even put you in a situation where
Well,
you're more vulnerable.
They had two new offensive tackles too.
Right, but even with two new offensive tackles, that puts him in a position where he's vulnerable.
Well, at least he knows what he got to work to.
So there's something to being out there working with your guys. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
We got a new running back. We got a new right tackle. I mean, right guard. I'm sorry. We got a new running back and a new right guard. So we got new spots too that need to work in terms of continuity.
Who's getting most of the first team reps? I will be mistaken. I told you Kenny Gainwell was going to take it.
Oh, Gainwell got no. Swift was playing.
Swift was playing with Mariota, but they used playing Mariota. Gainwell's been getting most of the first team reps.
Swift didn't play at all against Cleveland.
Well, I'm talking about just in general throughout camp. He's the one that's probably going to get the most touches early on.
So I heard the analysis. The analysts say something about Gainwell possibly starting the season.
Yeah.
The guys who were calling the game against Cleveland. Yeah, they said something about Gainwell.
I told you he's going to take that next step. I told you he's a kid. I love his attitude, and I love the way he goes about the game.
Well, even before this was my thought during the offseason, during the middle of the offseason, before they ever brought Swift in here.
Mm-hmm.
My thought, because everybody was talking about how we need another running back, how we need a running back. Miles is gone, and we need a running back.
And guess who's got a sore groin?
Who, Swift?
No,
Miles does. Miles does. Yeah. So my thought at that time during the offseason, before we had even brought Swift in here, was that what's wrong with Kenny Gainwell? How come he can't start? I thought he was a complete back. I thought he'd been proven. Yeah. I thought he was capable of doing the job. I still think the same way. He could very well be the starter at the beginning of the season. Yep. Particularly if we didn't have Swift, he could handle the job. I think he would do a great job of as a starting running back in this offense because he's familiar with it and he's proven himself. Particularly, man, during the playoffs last year, he was a beast.
Yeah, but I think the 2 or 3 headed monster. I think it leads to good competition amongst the backs.
And it's going to allow them to stay healthy because we got Swift, you got Penny, you got Gainwell, you got Boston Scott. Yeah. It's going to be,
but it's like you cherish the runs that you get and you do what you're exactly supposed to do. I was watching one of the running back coaches in one of the games I was watching. There was a hole clearly there. The dude just kept stretching it out, and he pulled him out immediately. And the running back coach was like, "Get up in there, get up in there." So it's like, "What kind of get up in there?
Get up in there."
Yeah. So it's just I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what goes down. I didn't like the fact that Goofball was he's still talking about us Miles.
No.
Yeah.
Guys try to, when they leave Philadelphia, they want to make the mistake of speaking ill about the team or teammates or the city. Yeah. They make that mistake. And and you don't burn bridges. You just don't do that because you never know. When you go up, you meet the same people on the way down.
Yep.
You got to be careful. Listen, I know you wanted to say something about Jim Irsay. We only got a couple of minutes, man. So do your thing. I'm going to chime in a little bit because Irsay is crazy. He's a crazy owner. Who's off his rocker, and he does things that really disrupt the cohesiveness of the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not even sure, based on that whole scenario last year when he got rid of the coach and then he got rid of Frank Reich, and he brought in Saturday. It was like week 9, and he brought in Jeff Saturday. He didn't have any coaching experience. Who does that? What kind of stupid move was that? Yeah, and I'm surprised that Shane Steichen even went there based on he must be really just attracted by the money because now he's learning based on the fact that now Jonathan Taylor is going to be gone because this guy was the number 1 running back in the league 2 years ago. And now he's going to be gone because they've given permission to seek a trade. Somebody's going to grab him. Yeah, he's a running back, and they're going through the whole running back thing, and running backs aren't valued like they have been in the past. But Irsay said some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, the things that Irsay said were off-putting, especially to the rest of the team. You think about, and you went through this as well. You think about all the times that you played where you were sore, and you think that, but times when you played where you had to take shots.
When I was hurt, when
you hurt, you had to take shots and stuff. This kid went through an entire season and was the best player on your offense, and he was nursing an ankle and nursing a shoulder. And then you come back and say the game is not going to end. It's not going to end if you and him die tomorrow. It's a true statement, but you're saying it, and then you turn around and you turn to the rest of the people, your players, and talk about family. That's not how you treat family.
Right.
It's like when you see
hypocrisy.
But when you see teams do this, you only get the bare minimum from your players. Nobody's going to run through a wall for you. No, I'm not playing hurt. I'm not playing injured. I'm not playing. I'm not going out there unless I'm fully healed. Because as you just said, this is you've made it out of a business decision, and you've kind of if you was on that team and you heard him say that, would you not be looking to get the hell out of there as soon as you possibly can? Do enough until you can get the hell out of there.
Depending on where I was in my career, early in my career, I probably wouldn't say anything to him or seek him out.
I'm not saying say anything.
No, I would. If it was later in my career, I would go have a conversation with him, and yeah, I would be looking to get out of there, but I would go have to have a conversation with him. Listen, man, you need to tell me what it is you're talking about right here. Yeah. Because I'm putting myself on the line. Yeah, you're paying me, and you're paying me decently, but I do things that you probably don't know about, risking myself for the sake of the team, for the sake of winning, for the sake of the fans, and I'm doing this making you money.
Right.
What I do makes you money. Yeah, you're paying me, but you're making way more than you paying me. Mm-hmm. My ability to perform on the field makes you money.
Yes.
And I need to know that at least you appreciate. You don't have to care about me, but you at least acknowledge the fact that I mean something to this organization, because if I'm producing on the field, then guess what? I'm an asset to this organization.
Yep. And that was the one thing that I wanted to make sure that I get out there, because that's not it's even when you have just a regular job, if your boss comes down and say some crap like that, I'm not staying late. I'm not
gonna be some furniture moving, man. Might be some furniture moving.
And you know what? I wouldn't even waste my energy on anything like that. I would do what my job consists of. I'm not going above and beyond my job, and that's because you made it clear. That's how you feel, and that's how you end up being all by yourself or with the team that's not going to win.
Well, but doing your job is subjective. It's not objective. So some people may do less and think that that's doing the job, and some people may do more and think that's doing the job. So that depends on individual perspective.
But I think that when we say doing our job, you're not going to play hurt. If you hurt, you're not going out there. You're not going to risk life and limb. You're not going to run through that proverbial wall. You're not going to any work functions. You're not.
Well, I might not practice if I'm tired.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the one thing. The one thing that I thought that he kind of dropped the ball on that, and I think he sticks his foot in his mouth a lot.
So we all agree. Everybody who's watching right now, A2D Radio, we all agree that I can't say it the way I want to say it. But I am going to say, well, no, that's not what I'm not going to say. Thanks, Ralph. I'm talking about Irsay, Ralph.
Oh yeah.
So we all can agree that Irsay is a nut, that he's a lunatic, that he's out of control, and that he is not beneficial for that team. He's making decisions. I don't know if he's making them out of haste, or he's making them out of ignorance, or he's making them out of the emotions, whatever. He's nuts. He's nuts.
He's hopped up on something.
Sometimes you just got to get out of the way and let the people who know football do football.
Yeah.
He may know business, but he doesn't know. So I agree. He is a nut. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ralph.
He did the worst thing, but he just got a rookie quarterback too. And you just let your best.
And you know what? That's the thing about it. He could have given Jonathan Taylor the contract, because he's at the end of his rookie contract, and he's not going to have to worry about Anthony Richardson in his end of his rookie contract for a few years.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't interfere if he gave Jonathan a little bit more money.
A little something.
Plus, that's going to help Anthony Richardson develop if he's got a running back behind him that can run the ball and to help take some of the pressure off of him having to throw the ball. So Irsay's not even making any sense right now. They drafted Richardson. He's the fourth pick in the draft in the first round. He's a guy and obviously I think I read that he said they got to start him. Yeah. So now he's going to start without a running back to take some of the pressure off of him. That's really stupid. That's asinine. That's what it is. It's asinine. So real quick, Hollis, give us some history before we go.
Okay, guys, so real quick history here. Today is August the 24th, the 236th day of the year. There's 129 of these suckers left. Quick national holiday. Today is National Waffle Day. It's National Peach Pie Day. It's National Burger Day. It's National Shooting Star Day, Can Opener Day, and Strange Music Day.
Did you say Peach Pie Day?
Peach pie, like peach
Good
cobbler.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. In 1853, the very first potato chip was made by George Crumb, Chef George Crumb out of Saratoga Springs, New York.
Wow.
Cornelius Swarthout in 1869. He made these. He got a patent for the stovetop waffle iron. I'm a fan of waffles.
It's like the George Foreman grill.
And I got a couple of quick birthdays. 1944, Rocky Johnson. That's Rock's dad. 1945, Vince McMahon. 1956, Jerry Cooney. 1958, Steve Gutenberg from Police Academy. 1965, Reggie Miller. In 1973, today is Dave Chappelle's birthday. Special shout out to my buddy Steve Calvin. Somebody else's birthday was this week as well. I forgot though.
a lot of good that does them. You forgot somebody. Whoever that somebody is, happy birthday to you.
Birthday, and many more.
So happy birthday to everybody.
Everybody, yes. And many more.
So that way we, if it's not your birthday, don't worry about it. If it is your birthday, we got you covered.
Yes. So all the they call them Virgoats.
Virgoats.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's what it is. Virgo
next
season.
month. Man, I got a birthday coming up next month.
Or is it Libra season? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm a Libra.
Virgo season.
I'm a Libra. Yeah, I'm a Libra. End of
What's
September.
your October? End of September?
End of September.
Yeah, my brother Pops is a Libra, October the 10th, and my daughter, Haley, she's October 6th.
Haley.
Yes, she's the younger one, so you have to baby them.
All right, y'all, we're out of here today.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us. Shout out to everybody who has been supporting us. Thank you so much. This is Vetted with Irving Fryar, Big Dog Hollis Thomas over there on A2D Radio. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m., same time, same place, same purpose, Lord willing, and if the creek don't rise.
Damn, if